I was making some comments on the video. I told them to call in and debate me. Get as many of the people as they can to call in and debate me on here. Now, they are saying that the parents of that kid are indoctrinating him because he was singing that song. There ain't going to be any homosexuals in heaven. Now, what you're saying is that no one should have the right, no one at all, should have the right to tell the parents how to raise their child. But yet that's what these other people that are wanting to do, that are homosexual activists. They're saying that they should not teach their kid to be against homosexuality. That's the role of the parent to decide that. If they want to teach their kid that homosexuality is wrong, then it should be strongly encouraged. Just those people should not teach their kids to be against homosexuality. Teach them to make up their own decision. When I got older, I made up my own decision. I started doing research. That's how I became a conservative. They're getting in the way of, as you said, the relationship between the kid and the parent. That's what's going on.
All right. Well, legally, yes. There is no basis of legal means where you can tell another parent how to raise their child, with a few exceptions, that being the welfare of the child. It all falls within the welfare of the child. And the only real conversation I can have with you about this matter is through a deep-seated moral belief I have about the whole of Christianity's ideology towards homosexuality. I want to ask one question, right? A church, right? A church, if you were to judge the morality or how well a church is run, you would judge the church by the health of its members and by the fruit that it bears, right? Because it's in the Bible somewhere. I think it's in James that a tree should be judged by the fruit it bears, something like that. I don't remember the source, but I know a lot of the diction. And you would say that that's generally held to be a truth, right?
Right.
So if a church had members who were gay, who went and decided to commit suicide, that church would have to be held accountable for that, right?
Right.
There are certain strains of Christianity. There are certain beliefs and doctrines within Christianity that express an ideology that promotes the situation that will cause a homosexual child to commit suicide. Specifically that of the far Christian right, of which I assume you are a derivative of. I can't quite say you belong to. I don't know you personally.
Right.
It's this idea that homosexuality is so wrong that I have to reject somebody else from my family. I have to reject that child to cause such emotional turmoil within them that they will turn back to Christ and to want to join the family again. Which is the simple reason why we have so many homosexual suicides. That belief is unhealthy. Why does Christianity keep on teaching this belief? Because of a moral bias against homosexuality. I don't care about the moral bias. You can be biased against whoever you want.
Why do you feel that homosexuality marriage should be legalized?
Why do I think homosexual marriage should be legalized?
Should be legalized.
Because I don't think that a moral bias should influence our legal standing and our rights as citizens. I think that all rights are unalienable, in that they seriously cannot be separated from our beings. And if a government tries to separate from them, they are actually, I should say that a government cannot separate us from our rights, that we have them whether they want to separate them from us or not. That's the true belief that is behind the idea of republicanism.
Right.
It's behind the idea of classical liberalism. The autonomous individual. An individual should be able to sign whatever legal contract with whomever they please. That's the simple belief. And that should be there without any influence of morality religious perspective or the immorality, or however you want to paint it, because that doesn't matter when it comes to a contract, when it comes to a contract that deals with legal means. Personally, I don't care if you really call it like a civil union rather than a marriage. If you want to be, if you want to be mean, just say, oh, gays can't be married, but they can get civil unions, or whatever. I mean, that's fine, but they should get the same protection under the law, simply because that protection is due to them as human beings. And that's my simple argument for that. That's the same argument that these people are making against the parents, that child's morality, that child's ability of choice is due to him as a human being.
Yeah.
That we should all be able to choose. That we should all have the ability of an autonomous individual.
Who is supposed to marry these people? Homosexuals. Who is supposed to marry homosexuals?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the ideology of it.
I know, but who is supposed to marry homosexuals, though? Pastors? Are pastors supposed to marry homosexuals? I'm asking you.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. The phone connection is kind of bad.
Okay. Are pastors supposed to marry the homosexuals?
A pastor is forced to marry a homosexual?
No, should a... Well, see, what would happen is, if a pastor decided not to marry a homosexual couple, that pastor would be announced as discriminatory, and he could lose his license if this happened. This hate crime act that's coming into effect is going to affect how Christians and other people of different religions teach the word homosexuality in this act.
Well, I'd actually want to ask you, in what way is a religious entity treated like a corporate entity? I mean, religious entities don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to file practically anything with the government. They don't have any audits. They don't have the IRS looking down their pants or anything. They are in no way related to a corporate entity. Yeah. The idea that they are going to be held up to the same legal standard of a corporate entity is absolutely ridiculous. And you can see many different Supreme Court cases and many different laws and constitutional doctrine that are protecting a religious institution. So this is another fault that I have with the religious right. Me as a personal conservative, I believe that everybody should have the same protection. And then the religious right comes there, oh, we don't have the same protection as anyone else, so we should have more protection, which is ridiculous. Because there is no group in America, none out there, other than white Anglo-Saxon Christian males,
one of the things
that have more protection right now.
One of the things that you're wanting to say, though, with homosexuality, if we allow homosexuals to marry, is that this is also going to encourage this hate crime act to come up that I was talking about. What's going to happen is they're going to monitor how how preachers can preach. They're going to say they cannot preach against homosexuality, even if it is against their belief. That's what they're going to be saying.
How, in any way, is giving one person freedom, in any way and manner, taking the freedom away from somebody else?
Because
that is the biggest nanny-state liberal ideology, Machiavellian idea I've ever heard.
Liberal. Would you consider Obama? Would you consider Obama a liberal?
Obama a liberal?
Would he be a liberal?
Yes.
He is.
Yeah.
He's supporting homosexuality. So.
Well, that doesn't.
He must be a conservative too. There you go. He's a conservative and a liberal.
Nah, that's ridiculous.
What? He's a conservative.
I mean,
he's supporting homosexuality.
Marxist ideology and anarchist ideology both believed in the overthrow of government, so they must be the same, right? Ridiculous. Mikhail Berkman specifically talked against Marx and showed him how anarchists are different than Marxists. Just because you believe in one single policy does not make you. This is why I think it's ridiculous that you call Obama a socialist fascist. That's ridiculous. You can't be a socialist and a fascist.
I don't call him a fascist.
Those are two entirely contradictory terms.
I know. I called him a socialist. I've never called him a fascist on this program.
So saying that all just it's like, all squares are rectangles, so all rectangles have to be squares. No, that's ridiculous. It's not mutually exclusive, and it's not mutually inclusive either.
I'll tell you this.
Liberals support. Okay.
Okay, I'll tell you this. We got to close. This is the last statement that I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
If you legalize homosexuality, homosexual marriage, the belief of homosexuality is completely all right. People can go out and do whatever. But when you want to legalize marriage, it's going to be tax deductions. There's going to be treated like a regular marriage. Then next thing, what's going to happen? Homosexual rights is going to kick in. We want to go to a church where homosexuality is allowed, but we can't go to this church because the pastor is preaching against it. We want something done. So what happens next? The homosexual or gay pride steps in. What happens? They decide to make a law, which is already in progress, the Hate Crime Act, which monitors and mandates what a pastor can and cannot say behind the pulpit. If he says that homosexuality is a sin, it is wrong, and it is against Christianity, then he will be penalized and could be fined for the hate crime, or he could also lose his license. That's what would happen. See, if you do one thing, it starts a chain reaction that moves on and on and on and on and on. And before you know it, they want homosexuality to be accepted by everyone. This is not... Now, I absolutely despise people that are like this, but they say that racist. They say racist. Racist was at a time... okay, now it's wrong. Now, see, I am totally against racists. But see, they're wanting to make homosexuality something relating to that issue. They're wanting to, and they want it to be anti-gay as common as racist. They're still bad. That's what they're wanting. And if we start passing these homosexual rights bills, then eventually it's going to corrupt our entire system. It's going to corrupt our society with immorality, perverted way to have sex, and that's where I'm coming from. So I'm sorry I got to cut you off, but we're out of time.
Can I have one more statement?
You got one more statement.
All right. How in any way will someone else's marriage affect your political view? How does someone else's ideology affect your personal belief about morality?
Well,
the only way it can is if you let it. And that's what it's all about. It's about the freedom of thought. And I think that maybe in Canada it's different. I don't know. I live in America. And in America, the ACLU protects Nazis. The ACLU protects racists.
Right.
The ACLU, all of these beliefs, all of these monumental ideals of classical liberalism, of freedom, are protecting everybody. And the idea that someone else's freedom will take away from your freedom is a scare tactic used by people who have power to keep their power, and that's simply the fact of the matter.
Now, personally, it does sicken me. It sickens me to see a couple that are gay, or partners that are gay, that are out kissing somewhere. It absolutely disgusts me. It is against my religion. It's against everything that I stand for. It's against my personal beliefs and my beliefs in my natural beliefs.
Well, then let it strengthen your belief, man.
I know that's why I'm standing up against it, because I don't want to see our society go downhill. I don't want to go to Walmart and then see it as acceptable.
This is the nanny state liberal ideology. We can't legalize heroin because suddenly everybody will go out and want to shoot heroin. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well,
that's ridiculous.
You can go there,
the
but
the idea that the entirety of society is hanging on by one thread and you're the only the bulwark that is protecting everybody from turning gay is an ethnocentric belief of power dominance, and it's simply wrong.
Right.
There has never been one instance in the history of the world where making someone more free or more real free has taken away someone else's rights, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Well, see, here's what I'm going to tell you. If I don't enjoy looking at indecency, and with homosexuality coming in, Like I said, they're going to make anti-gay the same as racist, and they're going to start attacking us. Look in my chat room right now.